Well, everything's all shoestring together right now.
Okay, yeah. Let's just hope it stays that way.
Yeah. What is this?
It's my jam. That's what it is.
Someone made a post about it, so I figured I'd do it.
Oh. Yeah. This is gonna get us a copyright strike.
Probably is.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my life.
I'm sorry I'm late. I was watching the first Enterprise on the holodeck. You know, Archer and those guys? What a story. Those guys had a long road getting from there to here.
It's been a long road.
Not one of the funniest things that happened in the episode of season finale of the Lower Decks. I mean, there's also this
Give
jam.
me warp in the factor of 5, 6, 7, 8.
Nice.
And then, of course, my favorite.
I'm only hard on you when you make me hard.
I used my extra 15 minutes wisely, gentlemen.
Yeah. Nice.
I went and got some clips. I mean, that's it. So,
Yeah.
Right on.
all right, ready to get going. It's Trekcast, Galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast. And that's Galaxies with a Y apostrophe S, not IES.
Uh-huh. Like it says on the website.
Like it says on the website. And I ain't changing it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Got to be wrong somewhere. So, we got a lot to talk about. That's a hell of a way to start the show.
Oh, it's total train wreck right now. It's great.
Hey, it's wonderful. This is what we are.
Yeah.
It's what we do. So, I had a lot of news hit us on Thursday. Then we had the finale, and then we had first opening sequence of Discovery for next week show up. I mean, we got a lot to go over. So maybe we just ought to jump right into the news.
Yeah.
Attention all hands. It's time for Star Trek news.
All right, take it away, Daniel.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the big news story. It's coming to us from Deadline. Joe Biden's campaign is going to have a Star Trek themed fundraiser. No, I'm kidding. That's not the big news story. I mean, he is doing that, but that's
Cory
not...
McBooker, Jazz Hands, is going to
Yeah,
delete
yeah.
the whole thing because he's a big
Yeah.
Trekkie.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's not the big story. The
No,
big
no.
story is, of course, the return of Captain Janeway. She's going to teach the kids to murder on Nickelodeon. Star Trek Prodigy.
No, this is what she's going to be teaching them to do.
There's coffee in that nebula.
That's what she's going to be.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Make him hunt for coffee for her.
Yeah, so there was the New York Comic-Con virtual, what they're trying to do this year. So they announced that I can't talk to you, man.
No,
Daniel-
none of us can.
Daniel just predicted that COVID's going to go on for several years.
Well, it's the worst
Right.
it's been in 100 years, according to Joe Biden. So,
Yeah. It'll never end. And just because we figure out COVID doesn't mean the next one won't come. So there you go. Yeah. Anyways, so she is going to reprise her role. It is a cartoon CGI, so she gets to be Janeway in sweatpants in a recording booth.
yep.
She says, I can't wait to endow her with nuance that I never did before in Star Trek Prodigy. How thrilling to be able to introduce to young minds the idea that has elevated the world for decades, and to be at the helm again is going to be deeply gratifying for me in a new way. So cool. Everybody's favorite Alex Kurtzman is also very excited, and he was part of the announcement. Him and his big, thick glasses. I say that as somebody who wears big, thick glasses too. So whatever. So we don't know much. We don't know if it's just a guest star. We don't know if she's. Yeah, there you go, Dan.
I think she'll be a regular. Coming off of how they did this, I think she's going to be a regular, and I think she'll be, like in kids' cartoons where you see this either parental figure or mother figure or like someone who kind of guides them, just kind of pops in and out willy nilly. I think that's what her role is going to be.
But isn't the premise they still the ship?
Yeah, the premise is they find a derelict ship and start to use it. Yeah, so
she may be the narrator.
Oh, could be.
You know, it may be told through her captain's logs, and she's the narrator, and she'll appear like bookend at the beginning and the end, but maybe not the actual story itself.
Yeah.
She's going to be like at the end of G.I. Joe when they have the 30-second PSA. That'll be her.
Yep.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, kids use bleach when you commit murder.
Yep. Now we know how to murder, and knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other sound clip I wanted this week. The and now you know. You know, I wanted to have that. Oh well, I'll find it.
Our next news story comes to us from TrekMovie.com, and the headline reads: Alex Kurtzman and CBS planning Star Trek TV through 2027, including more Discovery seasons. So yeah, also part of that panel, they were talking about the history, or what they plan to do, and yeah, they've got Star Trek planned all the way out till 2027. He also says there's a lot more stories to tell.
Oh yeah,
with Discovery. So I mean, what else is he gonna say? Like, no, I think we're done after this season. Yeah, so of course.
No, we're gonna shelve Trek for another 5-6 years, and then we'll pull out something else. No, he's not gonna say.
Yeah,
I think I know Daniel usually does the news, but I got a little tidbit. I heard from Little Birdie that we're getting Star Trek: The Barclay Factor. It's 6 seasons. It's an overarching story. It's the further adventures of Reginald Barclay, and I mean, tell me you don't want to see that. Tell me that's not like number one on everyone's list.
I would love to see Barclay hosting one of those like makeover shows where he takes you to the holodeck and he spruces you up.
Yeah. He pulls a Maria Konda and organizes your quarters for you.
He just spruces up your life.
So right.
You can live your best life on the holodeck. Though.
On the holodeck.
Yep. On the holodeck. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that. I would like to see him though show up in Lower Decks. That'd be funny to have him just show up somewhere as like a I don't know, engineering liaison or something, and he just shows up and does something quirky and screws something up, I mean, at this point, with the way they did Will and, spoiler alerts, in the season finale of Lower Decks, Will Riker shows up with Deanna Troi. So anyway, the way they did those two, I don't see any reason why you can't have the whole crew show up every once in a while of TNG. A little bit of Geordi, a little bit of Worf, a little bit of everybody. So far, everybody it looks like is going to be on Picard. So why not throw Worf into Lower Decks?
Just think of that song of Mambo No. 5. A little bit of Worf in your life.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And our last news story, also from TrekMovie.com, headline. Report, Anson Mount not returning for Star Trek Discovery Season 3. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. He's kind of getting his own show. So,
sweet Jesus.
Yeah. Apparently, this is a news story that he's not going to be in it. Neither is Spock 3.0 or number 1. Yeah, no kidding. They're getting their own show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the deal. So, okay. That's all the news.
Well, I mean, the headline's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Taken completely out of context.
Yeah.
Which is what every headline is. We've discussed this cleanly on the show. Yep. It's clickbait.
You know who else isn't going to be in Season 3? Cisco.
You don't know that, man. You don't know that.
You don't know. No, you don't. He could show up. That could be when he returns. Is in Discovery Season 3.
Yeah, of course. Now that I said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's start that rumor.
Yeah. Here comes Avery Brooks.
It's real. It's not a rumor. It's real.
It would fit.
I'm here at the old Terok Nor having a drink with Morn. Morn's great grandchild.
Yeah. Who won't shut up?
Who just won't shut up.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of news there coming out of that. Of course, they had a New York Comic-Con virtual thing that they did. And of course, they showed a little bit of Discovery, which we won't talk about right now. We'll get to that later. So we're moving into the feedback then, or?
Yeah, let's move into the feedback.
Hailing frequencies.
Open.
All right, what you got, Daniel?
So I've got an email from Scott, Mr. Strongbeard.
Yep.
And he sent this email, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's pretty long, but he says, I've included a link to a page or website called IMDb. It's a site with a database for movies, and TV shows with information about Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 1, Episode 10, to help you with your podcast. And of course, he signs it sarcastically yours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't do the synopsis, or we just ad lib a synopsis.
Like, well, what's the name of that character? The green one.
Yeah, Tindy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why he's doing that. So that's cool.
Well, thanks, Scott, for that.
Yep.
Really neat. No.
All right, anything else?
No, that's the only email I got.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of the brackets have been emailed in, so that's cool.
Yep. I've got my 2 I got to send in. I've been making posts on Twitter. I'm taking Tim Morris's suggestion, and I tried to push that quite a bit this week on Twitter, as well as one of the 99 Tuvix memorial memes.
Oh, yeah. There's
we literally
so many
have 99 of them, yeah. So now it's getting hard because I have to keep track of which ones I've put up and which ones I haven't, so.
Yeah.
The Tuvix Dos Equis commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. The most interesting man in the universe.
I was trying to figure out if it was Dos Equis or if he's the Chuck Norris of the Delta Quadrant.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, why not both? He is 2 men in one.
Yeah, he is 2 men in one.
It's twice the man you are, Chad.
Of any of us.
Oh, man.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so then we had a lot of people all of a sudden come and join the group this week. I don't have their names in front of me, but I just want to say welcome. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it was the biggest week in new members coming into the Facebook group ever, plus 12, plus 13, something like that. Quite a bit. So thank you for joining. And for those of you on Twitter who keep saying delete Facebook, I'm not going to your group. Too bad. So.
If those people on Twitter should come over to Facebook, because if they don't, how will they know who to vote for?
Yeah, exactly.
My God, Facebook has invited me to register to vote about 172 times last week.
All of them. Instagram,
each time I click on it and say, don't show me this again, or don't show me ads like this. I'm registered to vote. I've been registered to vote since I was 18 years old. I don't need Facebook to help me decide. And so I use the feature to, stop showing me this shit. And it doesn't matter.
No. They're going to shove it down your throat.
Yep.
Until election day. And then after election day, you won't be able to make any political commentary. They're going to cut it off. They're doing it on Twitter. They're doing it on Facebook. They're doing it on Instagram. I don't know any other platforms that are doing that off the top of my head, but I'm sure they are too. They want total blackout on political speech after the election. That's literally what Zuckerberg said. So I don't understand why. Like, we can't talk about. Anyway, we got a donation over to the coffee can. I don't know if we read this one last week or not, because it does say 5 days ago. So I'm assuming it's been 7 days since our last show.
Yeah.
It was from Tim Morris, and it says, "Thank you, gentlemen, from across the pond. If you're ever over here, then I'd love to buy you a pint of each of real ale. But in the meantime, please enjoy a coffee each instead. Peace and long life." Okay, that's Tim. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Keep those donations coming. Let's see, what else do we got here? I don't have any voicemails. I don't have anything at the chat is wrong. So I guess that concludes our feedback section. A short and sweet one this week. So
yeah, well, just the tournament. Like, remember, if you haven't gotten your brackets in, we're start Monday, and that's when we close the submissions. You can go to trekcast.com in the blog section, get your bracket, email it back in once you've completed it, and we will have a prize for the top vote getter in our Sci-Fi.
I don't think anybody can actually win. I don't think do you think statistically it's possible for someone to get enough points, not get a wrong answer enough somewhere, and still pick the winner? Do you think that's going to be possible? I mean,
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
This will be interesting to kind of look at the stats of this once it's all done.
Yeah, because Commander Felton, he won the food one.
Yeah,
but he picked the winner. Like,
right.
He got it. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
So what is it? You have to if one person picks the winner, they win. If two people pick the winner, you go to who has the most correct picks along the way.
No,
is that how it works?
No, the way I'm doing it is each round you get a point, but like each round goes up a point. So like first round is 1 point, second round is 2 points, and it just goes up. So whoever's got the most points wins.
Okay.
Even if they don't pick the winner.
Even if they don't pick the winner.
Oh. Okay.
No.
So that'll be interesting.
All right.
But the winner, I think, like, if I did it right, it's like 5 points. So, like, and theoretically, you will have gotten points all the way up to that winner. So,
yeah,
it'd be hard to lose if you pick the winner. I mean, you'd
have to be amazing. You'd have to be amazing for 6 rounds and then choke at the last minute.
Yeah, and then completely. Yeah.
All right, cool. That is the what's the title? The Tuvix Memorial.
Oh man,
read the title.
Such a long title.
Read the title.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta.
So everybody listening knows this is a bracket competition for the best science fiction movie of all time. And why is it Wrath of Khan? That is why there's no Star Trek movies in the brackets. If you go to our website, trekcast.com, go to the blog, you'll see the bracket. You can get right there. It's a PDF. Print it out, pull it up on your phone, whatever, fill it out. There's lots of ways to do that digitally. Email it into trekcasttng@gmail.com. And we will have all of those in by tomorrow night. Today is Saturday, October 10th. This whole thing ends on Sunday, October 11th. We start ranking or we start doing the voting and the polling anyway in the Facebook group on Monday, the 12th. So you have to get those things in by Sunday night. Hopefully this show goes up today. We have no problems, and then you'll know. But
right. And it is
done.
The Trekcast, the galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast, presents the Tuvix Memorial Sci-Fi Movie Tournament.
Yes, there it is. There it is.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. Basically.
All right. Now we're moving on into the topic.
Yeah.
All right.
Talking about Star Trek in this week's topic. Talking about the Star Trek in this week's topic.
All right. Of course, this week's topic is none other than the season finale of Lower Decks. No Small Parts, which of course is also a pun. The title itself is a pun. That's pretty damn good because everybody has big parts in this episode, including Riker and Troy. Written by Mike Manahan himself. If I mispronounce his name, sue me. But that is the guy who started this whole thing, executive producer of Lower Decks itself. And then, of course, it's directed by Barry J. Kelly. That's the first time I've seen that name.
Mm-hmm.
The synopsis is, and I was ready for this one, Scott, so I did my
Nice.
The synopsis is, the crew of the Cerritos have to re-educate a civilization that was last visited 100 years ago by TOS, which is also a self-reference in the episode. That's great. And the crew gets some help while facing down the menacing Pakleds. So there you go. That's the quick and dirty synopsis. Excellent season finale. I put up a poll in the on Twitter asking folks, was this the best season 1 of any Star Trek series overall, or was it not? Is that a yes or a no? And it was split 50-50, yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of stinkers in TNG in its first season. There's a lot of stinkers in Voyager in its first season. There's a lot of stinkers in the DS9 in its first season. Enterprise was okay. It wasn't
For what it was, yeah.
For what it was okay. I don't recall there being a lot of stinkers in that first season, but it just wasn't great, And of course, TOS,
Yeah.
There's a lot of thought-provoking for episodes in the first season, so I'll put it that way. So in terms of entertainment value.
But even TOS is hard to compare with like more modern storytelling.
It's just a whole different era. So,
yeah.
Excuse me. So I don't know. It's a hard thing to sit there and factor in, especially when this is something that doesn't really take itself seriously. So from from a standpoint of being entertaining, it's most certainly the most entertaining first season in my mind.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
my question is it the best season finale of any of the Star Treks?
yeah.
Best season finale or best first season finale?
Let's go for first season finale. Let's make it equal.
It's
Yeah,
the best
by far.
It's the best first season finale. Yes.
Yeah, by far. Yep. Best season finale period? No. You've got Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Which are really good. One of the best, probably.
I mean, All Good Things.
Yeah.
All Good Things is, it's like,
right up there. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it somebody said Endgame was written.
Yeah, I did that news story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Avengers Endgame, was written with All Good Things in mind.
Well, that, and I think like if you look at a list of like series finales, it's just in TV shows in general, it's pretty high up there.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was the highest rated syndicated television of its time, television show of its time. So
right. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this episode was it was good.
It was. It
was
hit
good.
on all the notes all the way through.
I laughed when I was supposed to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in love with Jonathan Frakes. I want to marry him. I really do. I mean, for 7 seasons, I watched him as Riker.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Just in time,
That's it.
Getting jazzy.
No,
but
I
on
did.
On TNG, I know he wasn't the captain, but he was Kirk. He was the Kirk. He was the Kirk of TNG, and Picard was Kirk's dad.
Picard.
Yeah.
Picard was Dennis Riker.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to lose something before you appreciate it. And we haven't had any Riker in our lives in a long time, and we had him on Picard, and it was great.
Only for a few seconds, though. We got a lot of him in this episode.
Yeah, but the few. Well, no, he was in there more than a few seconds. There was the episode at his home in the middle of the season, and then he popped back up in the last episode.
In this one, we're getting him how we remember him.
Well, that's what I said to my wife.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife at dinner. I said, they brought back Riker and Troy, and I explained to her how it's kind of funny because the last episode of Picard, he shows up in a ship to save the day. Yep. The last episode of Lower Decks, he shows up in a ship to save the day.
That's what he does.
And I said, but this show is set before that. He's still a captain. He's on the Titan, and I explained to her how no one's ever seen it before. We all know about this ship, but it's never shown up before.
Yeah.
And because it's animated, it's just his voice. They can draw him however they want. He looks exactly like he looked in 2002 because it's a cartoon.
Well, they can show we can show Riker at the top of his game at this point.
Yeah.
So,
which I read an article about this episode. And I don't know where they got this information, but they said that Lower Decks takes place approximately 1 year after Nemesis.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
So it makes sense. It makes more sense than why when the Titan shows up, they're all wearing the TNG movie era uniforms. And when Mariner has her flashback to sitting at Deep Space Nine, remember we were trying to figure out how long ago that was based on what uniform she was wearing. Well, it was a few years back. But then, so what's his name? Boimler transfers to the Titan at the end of the episode, and he's wearing the old style uniform.
Yeah.
So,
which
I'm wondering what the deal is there. How much overlap is there with these uniforms?
Well, I think there's also lends credence to the fact that every ship does not necessarily have to have the exact same uniform. I think we've seen this before enough at this point to kind of rely on the fact that they have replicators. They can make their uniforms on every ship. And so some ships have different uniforms than others for whatever reason. Either it's because it's legacy uniforms they don't want to change, or they always get the new stuff, or they have their own little bit of a style based on what they're doing. So, it's, maybe on the second contact ships, they always have to have the newest, latest and greatest to match everybody else because they're second contact ships, right? And maybe the cream of the crop ships can do whatever they want, like the Titan and the Enterprise, right? So,
see, I've always thought of it as like it's dependent on what region you're in. So like DS9, they have this type of uniform, so because that section of Starfleet wears that style, and maybe the Enterprise because they kind of go everywhere. They've got the latest, greatest uniforms because they always want to present themselves well for for first contact.
Yeah.
It just depends. I don't know. We all make our own headcanons. It doesn't matter.
You have to make your own headcanon because I think a few times they've tried to tackle this and standardize this, and they've always gone back on what they've established.
Yeah.
Yep.
When the Enterprise showed up at Deep Space Nine to drop off O'Brien and brief Sisko, O'Brien shows up wearing a TNG uniform, and after checking into his room on Deep Space Nine, he changes to a DS9 uniform. When Sisko shows up, he's wearing a TNG uniform, and then shortly after checking in, he switches to the Deep Space Nine uniform.
Right. Yep.
And for a while, that seemed to be, when you had other Starfleet ships that showed up on Deep Space Nine, they were wearing the TNG uniform. So it was like, all right, this is like a ship uniform. This is like a
Starbase uniform.
A Starbase uniform. It's a different kind of uniform in the same uniform system. Then Generations comes out, and everybody's wearing both.
Yeah.
Then Voyager comes out, everyone's wearing the Deep Space Nine uniforms, even though they're on a ship, no matter where they are. And the only time you saw the TNG uniform is like a flashback, or I think the admirals were still wearing that type of uniform. So they establish things and then they discard them. Then when they switched over to the gray stuff for First Contact, there were still a couple of episodes of Deep Space Nine where you saw officers in the background wearing, visiting officers wearing the TNG style uniforms. So at this point, it's like, I don't know, man.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
Just wear what you want.
To each their own, yeah. To each their own. No, the whole episode, though, starts off with this whole Prime Directive thing again, and the semi-influence, whether or not we intervene or not. So it's kind of interesting that Freeman's kind of struggling with that as well, and not really sure what to do. So she's going to use her daughter, who doesn't play by the rules, as the person who can go and do that part of it when it's necessary, but she still sticks by the rules. It's kind of funny, but they do kind of come together by the end of the episode. So that kind of brings the whole season full circle, that the two are kind of have an understanding of one another. They've kind of grown throughout the season. That was kind of a nice little touch. And of course, within the first, we were wondering how long it would take Boimler to spoil the secret that Mariner is
that was right away.
Freeman's daughter, and it took all the 30 seconds.
10 seconds.
I mean, yeah. So it happened immediately, and they get beamed onto the bridge, and right in front of everybody's hearing this. The whole crew is hearing it, which is kind of funny because we never really hear Rutherford ever say anything about it later on, or Tendi ever say anything about it later on. It's all between the upper deck, the bridge crew, and Mariner. So and people that are as she's walking around, of course, Boimler, but we never get a reaction from Tendi or Rutherford about that.
I'm kind of surprised that throughout the whole season we didn't really deal with Section 31.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. That's not the kind of ship that would have to really interfere with or ever get involved in any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I could see them trying to do some sort of deal where Mariner is a Section 31 agent, and that's why she doesn't play by the rules. And maybe that's season 2. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
we'll have to wait.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So maybe we'll see. And of course, we get the exocomp with Tendi, which I did not realize the exocomp was going to be a Starfleet officer, complete with her own father, who doesn't approve of her decision. Right? So, Peanut Hamper. Yeah, what a hell of a name. I mean,
I think that's kind of a joke. you read these articles every now and then where they're like, we taught a computer to do this.
Yeah.
And this is how it responded. Like where they're talking about the crazy things that AI come up with.
Yep.
Sometimes there's a million calculations going on there, and it comes up with peanut hamper.
Yep.
I'll tell you this: if I get another dog, I got the name now.
There's pictures of like hampers, like clothing hampers, all going all over Twitter the last 2 days with the Snoopy's and Peanuts characters on it. So there's your peanut hamper. Yeah.
Yeah, there's peanut hamper.
I did like how the exocomp was like, yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we got this suicide mission, which itself was a callback to the TNG episode. The thing just displayed sentience because it didn't want to go down the corridor and be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So.
Yep. It just beams itself off the ship and floats in space.
Yep.
So
it's like, I'm out.
Pretty
Peanut
funny.
hamper.
So is it a okay? So then of course as the thing progresses, we find out it's the Pakleds that are attacking, and they think they keep attacking the Enterprise, which this is a great little trope, right? Because yet again we come across another species that was a throwaway species. We haven't heard anything about him. We see him very little, if at all. We don't really know what's happened to the Pakleds after the first encounter with him with Geordi. And oh no, they haven't gotten smarter. They've just gotten a hell of a lot more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's where they've gone since we've neglected them for however long, whatever it is, 50 years, 30 years. So 20 years. I don't know what the timeline would put that at, but which I think is hysterical because now they've got their helmets, they've got axes, they beam onto the ship and they start hacking things apart.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of idiots.
They need stuff to go fast.
They need stuff to go. Yeah. I should have that as a clip. Make it go.
Make us go.
Yeah, make us go. But anyway. So that was pretty comical how they did that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And then, of course, we get poor Rutherford and Shax, So they didn't shy away from killing off a character.
No. Well, security officer has to die in the first season, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, that was a main character. I mean, I know they're the upper decks. I know they're the bridge crew, but that was a main character, And so rest in peace and with the Prophets, Shaq. So.
But he's been so good this month. Let him shoot.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. He's been waiting his whole life for this.
Yeah.
I did like how he just, I'm going to just throw the shuttle off the ship.
Yeah.
Yep, that was pretty good. And of course, Rutherford,
baby bear.
Yeah, I'll carry you. I can walk. He gets his cyborg implant ripped out.
Oh man, that looked
just
painful.
Gruesomely painful.
Yeah.
And they don't act like they're going to put another one back in.
No.
So that'll be interesting. His entire character is going to change.
Maybe we'll find out why he has it.
Yeah.
They never even touched on that. Why he has it? Was that was that elective surgery that he had? Is it was it self-augmentation? Was he in some sort of accident that he needed that? We got nothing.
No.
I like full Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah.
What's that?
When he was going through his
he went full Johnny Mnemonic. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I've heard of the movie. I've never seen it.
It's so in the movie Keanu Reeves has to put like information in a thumb drive in his head.
Yep.
So yeah. It's a terrible movie.
Oh, it's not that bad. I like Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh no, it's bad.
I thought it was okay.
Although they did predict the iPhone in the 90s.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. So so he's uploading virus. Trying to transplant it. Did we lose Dan? No, there he goes.
Now Daniel's on the left and Chad's on the right.
Yeah, it's switched.
It's gonna screw me up.
Totally wrong at this point.
Forget it. Show's over, folks.
No, you were saying about Badgie. Badgie is the virus. Badgie is what they're going to use to save the day to destroy the Pakled ship, which is hysterical because then he tries to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So, including Rutherford and Shax. But
I love how the status bar gets to 99%, just stops.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Which is, real life.
It is.
It is real life. Yeah.
And then he's sitting there going, "Not until you give me what I want," or whatever he said.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what Badgie said, but he stops it at 99%. It's like, I'm not doing it. So this brings up an interesting question about how this episode ends, right? So you get I put up a poll on this one too on Twitter to ask people what their thoughts were. So at the end of the episode, Boimler gets promoted. Marner's pissed. That's hysterical how she just keeps blowing up his pad. And he says, "Oh, ignore it." They're not. He calls her an old friend, but I don't think that relationship is over. Nor do I think that we're going to see Boimler on as a lower decker on the Titan for the entirety of season 2.
No, I don't think so either.
With Will and Troy. I don't think we're going to see that. Although overwhelmingly 75% to 25% people thought, yeah, we're going to see a lot of that. One of the comments was
people are hoping for Riker.
Sure.
They want the Riker show.
I don't think we're going to see that. I think what we are going to see is in that first episode that he's there for 30 seconds and somehow he gets kicked off the ship or something happens or whatever else and he winds back up on the Cerritos.
Yep.
So
that's
I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
I'm wondering if something will happen where he's going to get stuck somewhere. He's going to get separated from the Titan crew. He's still a member of the Titan crew. He gets separated, left somewhere, whatever, needs to be rescued. He's rescued by the Cerritos.
Yeah.
And because he's not the security chief or the first officer or something, he's a lower decker. It's, we'll get you back to the Titan.
Yeah.
When we can.
Yeah.
When we can. So I think there's going to be, he's going to be back on the Cerritos, but he won't shut up about the Titan. And he wants to get back. He wants to get back to the Titan.
Right.
Time.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. That's a good point. That'll be funny. I did love the one scene too where Mariner's like, wait a minute, I could get myself onto the Titan and be a lower decker there. So all of a sudden she's doing her hair straight. She starts doing that little Boimler walk,
She rolls her sleeves down.
They make a big deal about her rolling her sleeves down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just hysterical. Game on. Yeah. It's so funny. So good.
My favorite was the conspiracy theorist guy that Wolf 359 was an inside job. And
yeah.
He's just casually dropping all these things. Yeah. That was pretty good. I mean,
which is funny because if you think about it, it's like Wolf 359 is like it's like the 9/11 of the 24th century.
Yeah.
Right. And technically, it was an inside job
or whatever.
Picard.
Yeah. What's that, Daniel?
I was gonna say technically it was an inside job because of Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. So he's not wrong.
You sully his name when you speak it.
That's right.
So when are we going to see synths in lower decks? Because they're a big thing during Picard, and they weren't brand new. They'd been around for a while.
Right.
So I guess maybe lower decks takes place before the synths really become a thing, because there is a little bit of a gap of 20 years, I guess, 19 years. If all this really does happen a year or so, maybe 2 years after Nemesis, then there still is a formidable gap in between that and Picard. So I don't know. I'd like to see the synths in season 2. I would, in some capacity.
Yeah.
Even if they're just in the background, they should be part of the conversation somehow.
Yeah.
The early days of the synths.
You saw one. You saw Peanut Hamper.
Yeah, that's true. That's the first iteration, I guess. Well, I guess, do you get to the synths without having... Well, you still have B4. B4's around.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool to see B4 walking around.
B4 would fit, too.
B4 would fit.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think they need to touch it. They're out there and doing second contact, so... That's
true.
Yeah.
Just like they don't need to. I don't think they need to have Section 31, or they don't really need to have Q.
So, this show is really big on inside jokes and coming just shy of breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to have Kate Mulgrew in a recording booth,
right,
over the next few years.
Yeah.
So, for her to record a few extra lines to show up in this show,
it's not going to be anything. Yeah,
it's not going to be anything.
I'm
wondering how long Prodigy is going to be on the air before they reference it on this show. i.e., Janeway showing up and she's interacting with characters, and at the same time she's telling you, a hard A has an A sound, a soft A has a A sound.
Yeah.
Right.
Referencing the other.
She did say on the panel that she's already started recording. So there's nothing to say that she couldn't have recorded a few lines from the lower decks and could be in season 2,
I think it is time to have more of the Voyager crew and DS9 crew show up on lower decks. We've had a lot of TNG reference. Kind of keep moving forward with that and have, hell, they even had an Enterprise reference at the end of this episode with this,
Sorry, Elaine, I was watching the first Enterprise on the holodeck. Archer and those guys. What a story.
Yeah.
Those guys had a long road getting from there to here.
I mean,
but they could even, honestly, they could even use the Enterprise guys and just say it's their great-great-grandson or great-great-granddaughter,
Yeah.
Or, they're establishing now that, Riker visits that holodeck program.
Yeah.
Often, apparently.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing to say we won't see him on the holodeck.
Yeah.
Interacting with those characters. This
Right.
could be set up.
Absolutely.
Hell, they gave us Da Vinci last week.
Right.
We called that too. That was amazing. I still can't get over that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
They referenced Moriarty. They gave us Da Vinci.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they'll do. Is each season they'll have. All season long it was TNG references, just nonstop, with a little bit of other shows sprinkled in, but not enough to even like the TOS was one. Actually, I think this is the first episode where they've referenced the other shows, right?
No, well, she went to DS9, so
yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. They did do that. So little tidbits here and there, but it'd be great if next season all the references have to deal with Voyager, and then the third season all the references have to deal with DS9, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, so, I like that idea, but it's better if they sprinkle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's right.
Yeah,
that'd make more sense.
Yeah, I would love to see some DS9 guys in there and some Voyager guys. That'd be great. I'd love to see Tuvix.
Tuvix.
Yeah. Why not? Well, that guy would do it.
Harry Kim.
Tuvok.
Let's not get crazy.
Harry Kim is an ensign. Harry Kim is an ensign. Come on. What's wrong with Wong? Come on.
There was some footage recorded for it's like in the mid 2000s. There was a traveling Star Trek exhibit, like a traveling museum.
Yeah.
And they recorded some footage for part of the exhibit, and it featured Tim Russ as Tuvok and Will Wheaton as Crusher, as Lieutenant Crusher and Commander Tuvok in the gray uniforms. On, I don't know if they were virtual sets or if they mocked something up, but they were supposedly on the Titan. Because in the books, both of them serve on the Titan with Riker and Troy. So, if we're going to see more Riker and Troy and more Titan, it's very possible for those two to show up. They'll both be willing to come back.
Oh yeah, definitely. And maybe at that point,
I said you ought to be nicer to Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
Will Wheaton.
I'm trying to do those soundboard a little bit more organically, just for you, Dan.
I wouldn't mind Beverly showing up, like she's at a medical conference with the cat doctor.
Yeah.
That doctor's hysterical. I'm sorry. She's so damn funny.
She's great.
She's great. Well, and she has to mourn Shax now. That's the one she really wanted to sink her teeth into. So.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So there was very little mourning for Shax at the end of this episode.
That's how the show is, man.
That's horrible. Here we go. Here's the tube. We're gonna shoot him out in space. So, and then the next second, Freeman's like, "How am I gonna replace him? He was a good officer." Jeez.
I wonder who they will use to replace him. Like, I'm sure they'll just create a new character.
No, they need to bring Denise Crosby back. Have her play someone that looks like Yar, but that's not her name.
Yeah.
That would be hysterical.
You know what? Get Michael Dorn. Let him be the security officer there.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. It's a different character. Maybe not even a Klingon, but it's Michael Dorn's voice. That'd be great.
You sound familiar. Yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah. Or hell, get a Trill and have it be Terry Farrell. I mean,
Yeah.
So do you still have that IMDb
Yeah.
page up?
Yeah.
Are there any Easter eggs on there? Maybe there's some that we missed.
Let's see.
I'm sure there are. There was a ton. But they do that. They ride that fine line between the Easter eggs, nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, getting it pulled off right, and/or trying to use it as a joke and/or it falling flat. And this was a really well balanced episode for that.
Yes.
None of them were None of them had poor timing. None of them came off flat. I mean, it was really, really well done. Really well done.
There were a lot of them over the season that were just shoehorned in there.
Well, and that gives me a lot of hope for season 2 because the guy who wrote this one is the executive producer of Lower Decks itself. I mean, he's the guy overseeing all of it, and he's the one who wrote this one, and he pulled it off beautifully. Beautifully. Probably, is it the best episode of the season?
I think so.
I think
so.
So.
Well, because it wraps up everything. So
of course, yeah. It does a fantastic job of it. So
let's see. Some of the trivia, it says, the historical image of Kirk and Spock was a still from the animated series.
Oh,
yeah, we forgot about that. Yeah. The old scientists. TOS. Ransom is, this is who Ransom is.
I'm only hard on you when you make me hard.
Yeah. Boimler's choice of weapons was a sword, which is a nod to Lieutenant Sulu.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All the contraband all over the ship.
Yeah.
Comes into play.
The new ship that gets destroyed, its registry number was NCC13101, which is actually a lower number than the Cerritos. The Cerritos is 75567. So
did the captain of the Sylvain kind of come off as like, we need to stick her somewhere, we don't really know what to do with her, and she doesn't know what she's doing either, kind of?
She struck me as my Mima, who you could sit on the couches in this room, but not the couches in those rooms. In that room. And when you walk through that room, stay on the runner. Don't walk on the carpet.
Yep.
Don't take that plastic wrapper off the furniture until the nice guests come over.
That's right.
My grandma had plastic on the couch.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Yep. That was my Mima.
Oh, man.
That's all the trivia wise and that kind of stuff on IMDb.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Cool. Great episode all the way around. Great first season. Can't wait for some more. Already heard some rumblings that because, they already decided to do season 2 long before season 1 even came out. So we've heard the rumblings that side of things has never stopped. They didn't have to stop because of COVID. Obviously, they could all work from home. It's a much easier thing to do with the animation side than it is with real life. So, with that said, my prediction is we get season 2 in the spring. I mean, we're talking March, April. It will not be very long. It will not be very long.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
But we are going to get season 3 of Discovery.
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Next week.
Well, we're 10 weeks into the 23-week run of continuous Trek. So that means we got 13 episodes of Discovery starting next week on the 15th. That'll run continuous for another 13 weeks. No interruptions, no gaps, no short treks to shore it up in the middle of that. Haven't heard anything about there being more short treks, but I'm suspecting that we'll get 1 or 2 of those sprinkled in after Discovery season 3 is done, and that'll stretch it out until Lower Deck season 2 starts hitting, because I don't think we're going to see Picard season 2 until this time next year. I think it'll take
if we do, even by then. Yeah.
And of course, season 4 of Discovery, which they've already started filming or something. They're doing something with it. Yeah. We could even get that before Picard. Who knows? But I think we'll have a big gap next year. Over the summertime and into the fall.
Yeah. But a lot of things are going to have a big gap because of everything. Yep. So,
yeah. The world is weird still.
Yeah.
Regal Cinemas is closed. Everything indefinitely at this point.
I think the cinemas are I think there's a lot of movie theaters that are just going to go out. I don't think they'll be able to make it.
Yeah.
Not much longer.
Maybe. Maybe. Yeah.
I saw that Wonder Woman 1984 is probably just going straight to streaming at this point. They've pushed it back.
That's a rumor. They don't know yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do there.
Patty Jenkins said that that's not true.
They can't sit on that stuff forever. I mean, they released Tenet, and it has not done well because no one's going to the theater.
Well, it's done well overseas. It's made over 3 million, so
that's good. That's good. I didn't see the overseas numbers. I was just looking at the U.S. box office, but which doesn't really account for much anymore. Even before all of this, the overseas box office was always bigger.
Yeah.
But then what else did they push back? Because I guess we're done talking about Lower Decks. But they pushed Dune back. That was supposed to come out this Christmas essentially, and now it's October of next year, which really
all
sad.
The Marvel movies have been pushed back.
Yeah, Black Widow. So all of the MCU Phase 4 is who the hell knows when that's going to happen at this point.
Anybody remember that Morbius was supposed to come out?
No, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
So was that with the was it the
Jared Leto?
Yeah, Jared Leto's he's playing more. Yeah. No, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hard to easy to do, I guess, in this time with everything else being screwed up the way it is. So I don't know. I think people's lifestyles have changed quite a bit as well. We're all very used to streaming stuff. So
we've had to,
because you couldn't do it any other way. Yeah. So we've got a lot of guys I know around here on the business real estate side saying that it's going to be years before any of that gets on the commercial side for real estate gets back to normal because everybody's working from home. They're used to working from home. They've spent money on making it happen from home. So why go back and pay rent at an office?
Oh, I heard somewhere they were talking about like entrepreneurial ideas coming out of COVID. And one of them was like, if you're a contractor, start marketing yourself as a home office expert.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of people wanting to build their home offices.
Yep.
New York City is going to be in a bad way.
Yeah. Oh man.
For the next few years. Okay. Because you have so many people who work in New York City, worked, however you want to say it, that they don't live there. They commute in. I mean, they have, when people look at the numbers, there's, they have I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but they used to know there's approximately this many people on Manhattan Island at noon on a weekday. And that's how they plan certain things. And those numbers are all skewed right now. So you have so many people that have learned to work from home. They're not commuting into the city. And because of that, you have all these companies that they're either eliminating their footprint in the city or decreasing their footprint in the city. Because a lot of them are like, oh, we have to have a Madison Avenue address for the, for the field that we're in. Not anymore. Or you don't need to have an office with this square footage. You can have an office with this square footage. Okay. So as all of this continues to happen, the tax revenue is going to receive is drying up. And, this is a very tax and spend city.
Oh, man.
They have a lot of publicly funded programs that they're not going to be able to fund anymore. Now, if you couple that with the whole bail reform issue happening in New York State, I mean, the criminal justice system in New York State is just...
It's all upended.
It's in shambles right now. Yeah. But you have so many people who have learned to work from home, and actually not just COVID, but for safety reasons, they don't want to go into New York City again.
Nope. And even if they did, where would they go? All the restaurants are shut down. Half of them have already declared bankruptcy.
You can't go see a show. You can't.
Nope. Oh, you can't go on Broadway and you can't go to a movie theater, but you can go watch SNL on Saturday night. What the hell?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But even like
you can go and be part of the live studio audience of SNL, but you can't go see a show on Broadway. Yes, you can, and you can't go to a movie theater, but you can go be part of the live studio audience of SNL.
I know over here, houses are selling like crazy. They're putting up new apartment buildings all over the place. Yeah, like it is booming over here.
Well, but it's also got people escaping California.
Well, not just California, everywhere.
Washington.
Yeah.
Well, not just Washington.
Seattle.
Like, I've seen license plates from all
Yeah.
name the state. It's here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's happening here too. You have,
Yep.
you know, I live in the Upper Hudson Valley, but the Lower Hudson Valley, you have so many people escaping New York City,
Mm-hmm.
just buying houses.
Yeah.
You know, things are selling at their listing price.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, they want to get out.
Yeah.
They want to get out, and that's, yeah.
No.
It's going to be interesting for the next few years, to say the least. Let alone we've got 4 weeks, three and a half weeks until an election. That'll change things too.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all that said,
Well, that's pretty much it.
let's keep.
Yeah. Oh, are we gonna talk about that Discovery teaser or not?
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Let's finish up with some Star Trek. I mean, we
Yeah,
got
let's finish up
way
with
off the rails.
Oh, for sure.
Get us back into something that's positive and
Yeah.
uplifting and make us laugh.
Is it positive? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So I'm excited about Discovery's next season. I've said that for a couple of months now, almost all year, really. I've been looking forward to it because of their big time jump. We now know it's 930 years. That's what Burnham says in the trailer that came out a week or two ago, 930 years. So we've established that. We know exactly where they are in time.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this, 3 minute, the first 3 minutes opening sequence, something like that of the show. They aired that at the online New York Comic-Con, and it's definitely interesting. Obviously, we know that she's separated from the crew and the ship Discovery itself.
Right.
We've known that from the way they portray it in the trailers, and it's a long time because now suddenly she's got a lot of long hair when she sees him again. So
is she alone? Is she alone, or does she have someone with her?
Well, that's been kind of not really sure, right? And so in the trailers, it makes it look like she's just alone in a shuttlecraft for a very long time.
Because she's got that very long hair and it's braided. And
correct.
You usually don't braid your own hair like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but we know Booker, or whatever it is there with her right from the beginning when she
Richard Grieco?
Yeah.
Yes.
Richard Grieco is right there waiting for her with open arms. When she jumps out of the time hole. And this is the part.
Do you think she shows up at a different time than
she
Discovery?
does. She shows up before Discovery does. Yes, I think she does. And part of that comes from when she comes out of it. Obviously, she's in front of Discovery, but she crashes on the planet with Booker's ship. Which this is the one little thing I'll nitpick. Booker's being chased by, I don't know, maybe a Klingon or
some bad guy, whatever.
Some bad guy, right? Bad alien. He's being chased by him in his ship. They're shooting each other with weapons that sound like the jelly squid ship from the JJ movies, and it's not doing a whole lot of damage to his shield. He doesn't seem to be worried too much about it. But when Burnham in her little tiny suit with the Wonder Woman wings runs into his shuttle, now all of a sudden it's going down in flames on it's crashing. Like what in the So this brings up that whole, okay, so if we can't shoot you with phasers because you have shields, why am I not using railguns? Why am I not using
fair, I've dated girls that the moment they come into my life, everything goes down in flames. So I understood that.
But was she wearing the Wonder Woman suit?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's that one little, I'm like, what, really? How? That's kind of weird. But anyway, so those two crash on the ship. When she gets out of her suit, recovers or whatever, and she finds that, oh yeah, there's someone here. She thinks it's the crew of the Discovery, that they're there as well, but she's going to find Booker instead. Now, how long is he with her until they find Discovery? All the clips we've seen so far only show her with the rest, reuniting with the rest of the crew of Discovery, and not him. So I don't know. Maybe they're just hiding that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's always awkward when you bring your boyfriend to meet the family for this. So
or maybe that cat.
Yeah.
This has become a thing now, the grudge cat. So
everybody loves that cat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool looking cat, but it's no Spot.
No, it's not Spot.
Yeah.
What cat?
The cat that Booker has. He's got a cat called Grudge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is everybody the pet?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Well, I don't
For
think you see it in that
shame.
opening sequence. You don't see the cat in the opening sequence. You
Did
just
you watch
see him
the
in
Fat
the
Man
trailer.
trailer?
Mm.
Do what?
No.
No. Ah.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're in for a treat when you watch that trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
When
you
did
should
that
watch
come
that
out?
after. I'd like to hear your reaction to that.
Yeah.
It's a Mel Gibson movie.
Trailer came out this week.
Oh, Fat Man. Yeah, I watched that a few minutes ago when you
Oh,
you
yeah.
said.
Yeah,
I thought you said Batman.
No.
Oh no, Fat Man. Yeah.
The Fat Man. I'm watching that, and I'm like, is this real, or did somebody make this by mashing up? You know, people will
Yeah.
they'll take
Yeah.
old trailers and mash them up and add new
It's real.
dialogue. And
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the one? Somebody took Office Space and recut the trailer horror film.
No.
No.
Oh my God! When you're done, Google that or
Okay.
just go on YouTube. It's on there. But they added different music. They recut it, and yeah, it's a horror film. Office Space.
I love Office Space.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
No. All right. Yeah.
All right. So, any other feedback from the first opening sequence of Discovery?
No, I mean, Discovery always cinematically looks fantastic. It always
yeah.
has.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like that's what we're gonna have, which is great. I'm excited about that.
Yep.
You know. So.
Never complained about how it looks. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's movie quality on the TV. Definitely.
So yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. Characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it definitely will be.
Cruz.
Do what?
I like Wilson Cruz. He's great. So.
All right. So, do we want to go over real quick predictions for what's going to happen in season 3? Top thing we're looking for.
I'm gonna guess they never come back.
Well, yeah, I don't think they come back.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, one, that short trek where the Discovery is just sitting there for like 1,000 years. So
that's 70 years, even farther.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? So it's. Yep. No, when I said why, I meant like, why would they? Why would they go back? I mean, Philippa's got to go back somehow if she does still have a Section 31 show, but that doesn't mean everybody else does.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't see them going back either. I think my biggest thing is going to be, so if you take a ship from their timeline, what is it, 22 something? I forget exactly when it is. So,
yeah.
So if you take a ship from their timeline and you push it 930 years into the future, they look like a Model T strolling down the street compared to what everybody else has, right? I mean, it would look so far out. It'd be a tin can. You'd be able to take it out in 2 seconds flat. It wouldn't even be able to hold up. So the reason that that's not the case and that it's still going to look or feel like something that's different, maybe not state of the art, but has at least enough tech on it to hold their own, is because of this burn thing that happens.
Right.
No, I don't think the burn stands for Michael Burnham. I don't think that's the case. But I think there is something that happens throughout the entire alpha beta quadrant to where it sets everybody back far enough to where maybe they're just now starting to come out of it. And that's why they've got to redo things. They've got to restart everything, right?
Yeah.
So something happened to burn it all down. Now they're restarting, and so their technology level isn't as advanced as what we think. Because really, 1,000 years into the future, you wouldn't even need ships. I mean, your transporters would be good enough to take you from one place to another. You might have stations in orbit in case someone decided to do something, or cannons on the ground. But honestly, you wouldn't even really need ships at that point. You'd be able to go from one point to another without having ever set foot on a ship. But
the story takes place in the future. It takes place in everyone's future. It takes place in Discovery's future, Picard's future, all these other shows. It's forward of that. Okay, which means that none of it is set in stone.
Correct.
We don't know how things got the way they are, which means that, you already got people bouncing through time. We may find out that, they caused this.
Yeah.
And that may be the story, is fixing it so that timeline doesn't come about.
Oh, you mean that their time jump itself caused that?
Yes. Yeah. She spent last season bouncing through time.
Yep.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Now that you say that,
Yeah.
that they caused the burn.
They caused the burn.
The burn is Burnham.
And now, yeah, and now we have to fix it. And really, what I would like to see.
That makes all the sense with this show. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would like to see is, after this season, they don't go home, but they end up in the 25th century and kind of join up with where Picard is. Because if they don't, we're going to have 3 live action Star Trek shows taking place in 3 different points in time.
Mm-hmm.
Then an animated show that takes place in a different point in
Right.
time. And they're still talking about Section 31 being on the table. We don't know, where that's going to take
Right.
place. So it's like, they talked about being unshackled from canon, but if you're running 5 shows in 5 different time periods along the same timeline, you are shackling yourself by doing that.
Well, nothing in Discovery is going to be, because it's so far into the future that it doesn't matter. Like none of it matters. So, because it's so far out there that anything could happen over that. Of course, anything can happen in 20 years, let alone 1,930, whatever it is. So
honestly,
that part
think,
isn't a problem.
I really think that from the beginning, they should have just said, this is a completely new Star Trek universe. Doesn't matter if we do Picard or whatever. It's a different version of Picard. It's a different version of Janeway. And then that way you're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah, but that's one of the things about Trek that's always been one of the many things I love about it.
Yeah.
There's really no rewriting. There's really no starting over other than what they did with JJ. But even they tied it into the existing, right? So I mean, it's got this ongoing build. It's always being built on top of itself instead of trying to
but they
reboot,
do that in comic
restart.
books, and they constantly have to reboot. I mean, when are we going to get Star Trek: The New 52? See,
I don't want that. I don't want
that. The thing with comic books, it's tough, and they've learned from mistakes over the years. Like, you don't reference what year it is in a comic book. You just don't.
Yeah.
Batman's always 29.
You don't reference who's president.
Yeah.
Because you have 12 issues a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so theoretically each issue should represent 1 month out of the year. But then if you have a 4-part story arc that spans 4 issues, but the story takes place on the same night. You know what I mean? It's just it's a bad. It's just terrible trying to sync all of that up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different thing altogether, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I do not want to see I don't want to see, this is Janeway. That's just our interpretation of Janeway. It's not the Janeway you've seen from previous stuff. It's a different version. I don't want to see that. I want to see the continuation of the story of the Federation, the continuation of the story of those characters. Because the minute you do that, you've now wiped out 30 years worth of canon, essentially, 30 years worth of buildup, 30 years worth of character development, 30 years worth of all of that stuff. And that's the one thing you can take away, I guess, from the JJ movies, is they did a good job of balancing that. Yeah, we're rebooting it. Yeah, we've got new characters, but they're kind of the same. It's somewhat the same setup. There's real Spock, right? There's Leonard Nimoy. And it's a different timeline. And so they treated that pretty well. They did a good job of that. But I don't want to see them continue that and then suddenly have, overwriting the movies, the TOS movies, right? I don't want to see them do that.
See that, and I don't think about it in those terms. Like, those movies still exist. I can still go back and watch those movies if I want to, or watch those shows. So it's fine. Like, I'd rather see new stories and new ideas. Like, if you get a different take on Janeway that you want to, maybe alter her character a little bit, or Picard, you want to make him a little bit more this way or that. Like, yeah, it's fine. Just remix
characters
it.
Progress. People change.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. Those are our takeaways, I guess, for Discovery Season 3. Is there anything else we want to go over, gentlemen?
No.
We did that a little faster than I thought we would.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, we've been at it for a while now.
Yeah, we're getting kind of down. We're in sync of how we're doing things. So
yeah.
So do you want to take this little bit of the disco side of things that we did and just break that out and just put that up as a YouTube only thing for 15 minutes, 10 minutes like we were talking about? Or do you want to just leave it all together?
I'll leave it all together.
Okay.
People like it when we have a little bit longer show and they can hear it on their commute to their home office.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we'll get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.